Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to use Adobe Lightroom to make your photos look more professional. So I brought my image here into Adobe Lightroom, and you can use this on your phone or your computer. It is available in the App Store or available for Android. I like to use Adobe Lightroom because I feel like it's easy to work with. Once you learn your exposures with your light, the color and effects, it becomes easier to use. So I'll explain just the basics today and what I usually work with and use, and then you can play with it and use what works best for you. And each individual photo will be different. For this one, you can see that it's just a little dark, and we're wanting to lighten it up and brighten it up, and this is good for products that you're going to list to sell, or even just family photos. I use it for just about every photo that I edit. So I'm gonna I usually start with the exposure because I usually try to use natural light, but for some reason today my photos were a little extra dark. It's raining outside, I don't have a lot of natural light. So I'll start with the exposure, and over here I'm just going to move it up a little bit. So it already is starting to look better and gives it a little bit of brightness and a little bit more beauty. So then I'll usually come down here to contrast, and I can turn that up to make it a little bit brighter and sharper. You can see if I move it to the left, things get a little bit more dull in color. But I'm going to move it to the right and bring those colors out just a bit. Then you have highlights and shadows. And you can see if you'd use your shadows all the way, it'll bring out some of the darkness, and opposite, if you move it to the left, it'll bring those shadows out and make them a little bit more prevalent. So that's usually what I'll do for now. And then I'll go down to color. Temperature is one of my favorite presets to play with because it will change the total look of your photo. If you go left, you can see that it goes blue, and that's going to take out a lot of the warmth of your photo. If you go right, it'll make your photo a little bit more golden, a little bit more warm. So depending on what look you're going for with your photo and editing is where you'll mess with the temperature. For this one, I don't want it to look as golden, so I'm going to move it to the left just a bit, and you can see that it brings out that blue tint. If you do more, it'll bring more of that blue tint, and on the other scale, it'll make it more golden, more yellow. So I'm just going to make it just negative a bit with the temperature. And for this photo, a little bit goes a long way. So I'm going to move it to about -10. And then I'll go back up to exposure and brighten it up just a little bit more. And I play with these as I go along. It's not just a, set number that I go for. It's more of the look. So down here back under color, I will go to the vibrance, and I want to make it a little bit more vibrant, so I'll turn it all the way up to the right. Not all the way, just a bit. And then you have your saturation, and you can see that if you turn it all the way to the right, your colors here give you the hint of what it's going to look like. So it'll bring out those reds, it'll bring out those oranges and the candy corn, and I'm just going to turn it up just a bit to bring out that beauty. So down here with the effects, you can do clarity, you can do dehaze, and with the clarity, if you go left, it'll give you that nice dewy faded look, kind of like a halo effect. And then if you go right, it'll make it a little bit more sharper, a little bit more grainy. And so just depending on what your photo looks like is how much you'll use your clarity. So I'm going to leave it just turned up a tiny bit. And then if you go down, you see you have sharpening, noise reduction, color noise reduction, and I don't mess with those a ton for just product photography. So if you are happy with your photo, you can save it from here. If you want to play around a little bit with your exposure, I do want to make it just a little bit brighter, and I think it looks good. So I can show you down here what it looked like before. You can see it's a little bit darker, it's a little bit warmer, it's not as vibrant, it's just not as beautiful. And then after we have edited, it looks more professional. So that's a way that you can do it, and it makes your photos look more finished. It gives it just a little bit more of a pop, and it may catch an eye and help you sell better or just edit your photos better. So thanks guys for watching. Like the video if it was helpful. Subscribe to my channel for more tutorials. And until next time, thanks guys.